Maze Runner: The Death Cure, Thomas and friends are on a rescue mission to save their friends from inside of the legendary Last City. Along the way, they run into some anarchist revolutionaries that we're not really sure if they're friend or foe, and Teresa is desperately trying to discover the cure in time to save humanity. The Death Cure. Overall, there is a good bit of entertainment to be had here. There's also enormous lapses in logic. Now, before I give you my full thoughts on it, go ahead and tell me down below in the comment section, what did you think about the movie and what do you think about the franchise in general? Also know that I'm going to be ranking all 3 of the Maze Runner movies on Saturday, so come back Saturday to check that out. With that said, let's start talking about the good. Easily the best thing about this movie are the action sequences. The movie kicks off with a rescue sequence that's exciting, has all sorts of like big wide angle camera movements so you can see what's happening. And I don't know if these were all practical effects or if there was CGI involved, but it looked real. It did not look like I was watching a cartoon on the screen as you watch cars kind of drive on train tracks and Dylan O'Brien on the hood of the car jumping onto a train. It looked real, and he was injured while making this movie, so I suspect a lot of this was actually him doing really dangerous stuff. And then the last 40 minutes of the movie, maybe even more than that, is one long action, chase, explosion, all-out war sequence that has a little bit of everything that you might want out of this type of dystopian, end-of-the-world type of movie. And what's particularly impressive about all of this is the movie's budget is under $100 million, and it's a movie that kind of from beginning to end is just packed with action sequences. The final sequences, enormous explosions, crowds of people, and they put their budget on the screen. And I would expect a movie with this much spectacle and size to it to have a much higher budget than what it actually has. And of the 3 Maze Runner movies, I think this is the one that does the best world building, that makes the disease, the cure, the dystopia, the different factions in the world interesting for the audience. It makes all of that the star and puts it on the forefront, and it does a good job of that. With that said, let's start talking about the mixed aspects of this movie. For me, the acting was very uneven in this film. Like, I like Dylan O'Brien in the lead, and he's got good chemistry with Teresa, and she does a pretty good job in the movie as well. But then most of the side characters and sidekicks feel like they're just way overcooking it to me. Like, when they're supposed to be raging out and angry and infected, it's not convincing. It just feels like a person overacting as opposed to just naturally acting. And so that's kind of where it felt pretty uneven to me. From there, let's move on to the bad. The big problem here is the movie's just jam-packed with contrivances, coincidences, and just utter lapses in logic. I mean, this is the type of movie where a good guy standing in the open with a pistol takes out 3 bad guys with machine guns. This is a movie where every time our heroes are in danger, it pauses, and then someone comes in to rescue them. In a crowd of 1,000 people, our heroes just happen to be able to find the person they're looking for. In the middle of chaos, the vehicle shows up at just the right place to save the day. And all throughout the third act, the good guys, the bad guys, and everybody in between keeps making really, really bad choices if they want humanity and themselves to survive. And every movie has the contrivances, the coincidences. That's kind of what makes movies a little bit fun, is the absurdity of them. But when you're watching the story and all you can notice is the plot holes, the lapses in logic, the fact that our good guys can just stand in the open while people are firing machine guns at them and not get hurt, it pulls you out of the movie. And every time I would get excited about what was happening, there'd be a plot hole, a lapse of logic, a last-minute rescue that all I could notice was the lazy and sloppy writing. Overall, while I was entertained by this movie, I think I've got to give it a C. There's just too many plot holes, cheap gimmicks to try and move the plot along, but it was pretty entertaining, so I'd give it a 6.5 on the entertainment meter. So that's my take on the movie. Hey, if you didn't know this, I actually have a merch store up. I've got 3 different designs for t-shirts. You can put it on a shirt, a hoodie, a coffee mug, a pillow if you actually want to. And right now there's a sale going on for the next couple of days where t-shirts are only $14. You can check that out at the link down below. And if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos, but the key thing is I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you. So join me down in the comments section. Let's talk about the Maze Runner movies, what you liked, what you didn't like, and as always, thank you so much for watching.